Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be an update for the Panners Pan. I know that you guys are all waiting for my inventory. It is coming. Today is day one of my spring break. Well, today is Monday of my spring break. I kind of feel like day one was 2 days ago, but there were people in this house over the last 48 hours. And so I've kind of been waiting for today when my husband goes to work and my kids go to school so that I could film and do all things YouTube related and makeup project panning related. Everything project panning is happening today. I'm so excited, but I do have 3 days of my makeup and skincare inventory filmed and ready to edit, but I wanted to get this video up first. So if I'm on my A game, there will be a video every day this week, and soon the inventory will be starting. So I know how you guys are feeling, but I really wanted to get this update up for the Panners Pan because I am timing the finale of this project with Jessica Lee, who could be finishing up this project at any moment. So I figured, let me get a quick update in before the finale. I'm guessing the next time I post about this project, it will be the finale, because I think Jessica is getting really close to finishing everything that she's working on. She sends me text message updates every now and then saying like, hey, I only got 2 more products, or like whatever. Like she's such an amazing project planner. She's seriously goals. But I do have 1 goal met out of all the products I'm working on in my project. So I figured, let me get an update in. And I do, there's a couple products that I think I can meet my goal on before Jessica hits the finale, but you know how it goes. Maybe, maybe not. So yes, the Panners Pan is a project that was originally created by Elizabeth, who is Shiny Happy Pans over on Instagram. She's a good friend of mine. She had this idea of shouting out and honoring her favorite project panners through a project pan, and she invited a bunch of us to do the same. So basically, rather than having a theme to link our products to for this project, the theme is project panners. So we are linking products specifically to project panners so that we can shout them out through project panning. While we're project panning, we can shout out these project panners that we love so much. Just about everybody that I've shouted out throughout this project has been somebody that I've collaborated with on some level. I did do a product for Kat from Kitsch Snitch, who I don't have any kind of personal relationship, but everybody else I've either collaborated with or spoken to on some level through like DMs or something. So these aren't just people that are on the platform doing project panning. These are people that I care about. These are people that I highly recommend, and I'm a big fan of their work. I follow them and I like them all very much. Of course, as a lot of you guys know, I made this project more complicated for myself outside of the original boundaries of the project by making it progressive. So for a long time, every month, whether I met my goal on a product or not, I was rolling in a new product for a new project panner. At one point I had like 30 products or something. It was crazy. I have cut myself off when I realized that I wanted to kind of wrap this project up. I did kind of cut myself off from that. At this point in time, I've been working on 20 products. And like I said, I'm happy to report that I did meet my goal on 1 of those 20 items. So we are finally down to 19. That feels like a step in the right direction. Let's talk about the product I met my goal on first. That is hitting pan on one of the shadows from my My Little Pony palette. It's a tiny itty bitty baby pan, but it's there and it took forever. I kind of wish I would have tracked my usage to see how long it took me to hit pan. I have hit pan on another matte shade from ColourPop in the past in one of these palettes, and I think it was like 69, 71 uses or something. So it takes me a while to hit pan on these shadows, but I feel like this was more than that. It took a really, really long time for me to hit pan on that. I love this shade. It is a beautiful shade. I really like it in my crease, kind of blended out to my brow bone, but ooh, this took a lot longer than I thought it would, especially for a color that I enjoy wearing so much. Since I've hit pan on it, I haven't been using it as much. I think I wore it once or twice after hitting pan on it, and then I kind of put it away. But just even looking from like a side view of like where the top of the pan is and where the bottom of the pan is, it's a very deep pan. I am also working on another shade, or I'm supposed to be working on another shade in this project. First of all, let me talk about this one. This was brought in for Beth from Beth's Makeup Diary. I love Beth. She's a sweetheart, and I brought this in for her. But I was also working on this shade here for Courtney, who is Triggy 3, and I really haven't touched that shade at all. It's not a shade that I feel really confident in. It's not like there's just certain colors I feel really confident wearing, and like yellowy, orangey golds and blues are kind of on the other end of makeup I feel least confident wearing. Not that I don't wear them, but it's not a go-to for me. Like pinks and plummy shades are where I feel the absolute most confident and most beautiful. So those are colors I tend to reach for a lot. This one, not so much, but it is in the project and I'm supposed to be working on it. Okay, out of the original 10 products that I brought into this project, there are still 4 hanging on. I was really hoping to get those 4 finished in this project. It's not looking good, but let's talk about those 4 first. This is my ColourPop BFF lip pencil. This made it back into my 2024 Project Pan roast because I still cannot finish this. It's embarrassing how long this pencil is taking for me to finish. I did make some progress since the last update. I think my last update was like the end of November, so it's been like half of a year. There should be some progress, but it's not much, but at least I can make a new mark. That's where I'm currently at. You can see how much of it I've used throughout the years that I've been doing this project. It's really unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. Next is a single eyeshadow. This is a single eyeshadow from Looksy Beauty in the shade Halo. I brought this in for Alex, aka Alejandra Lisette. I just want to hit pan on it and I cannot do it. And the reason I cannot do it is because I never reach for this. And I don't know what the reason is for why I never reach for it, but I don't. It took me a long time to figure out how I liked wearing it, but I have figured out the way that I like wearing it, and it's over a very, very dark eye base, like a black eye base, and then I really like it. But even still, with having found a way that I like wearing it, I'm still not actually wearing it. So it would be great to hit pan on that, but I'm not holding my breath for that because it might not happen. I do have a lot of eyeshadows to choose from day to day, so yeah. That's all I can say about that. The next product might be the least used product in this entire project. I knew it was going to be a challenge. It's even more of a challenge than I thought it would be. This is the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Fool's Gold. I brought this in for 2 project panners. They are Rebecca Morgan and Jocelyn Claire. Both of them project pan. They're makeup items that are not cruelty-free in the hopes of obtaining a cruelty-free makeup collection. And so I chose this Maybelline product because Maybelline is not cruelty-free. I just really approve of the idea of, downsizing your collection for whatever reason by using up the products you don't love. I mean, what can I say? I'm a big fan of hate panning, so I do it all the time. But I don't know. I never reach for this, never. So I don't think I've used it once since the last update. Maybe I've used it once. And the final item, ironically, I've used, some, not a lot, but there's no progress, and that is this stinking eyeliner from Jante Blue. It is the most frustrating eyeliner ever. I do use it. I don't make any progress. I just sharpened it, and I held it up to my previous line, and there's no new space between where I was last time and where I used it enough to sharpen it, and it's still in the same place. How is that possible? I don't know. Anyways, I brought this pencil in this project way back when for Alexi, and it's never gonna die. That was in my Project Pan roast from last year. I couldn't even put it back into my Project Pan roast for this year because I was like, I'm never gonna finish it ever. That's okay. All right, those are the 4 remaining products from the original 10. We'll see. We'll see what I could do between now and whenever Jessica decides this project is ready to be done. Because when she says it's ready to be done, I'll be ready. Now, a lot of these products will probably roll over into other projects down the road, but some of them I'm gonna take a well-deserved break from, that's for sure. The next item is for Linda. Linda Loves Life. And that is this Lancome Juicy Tubes lip gloss in the shade Desert. I do have some progress. I don't really mark where I'm at, but I think I'm getting there. And I do use this pretty regularly. Sometimes I use it like as a lip balm, like just at nighttime. This stays on my lips for like hours and hours and hours. But sometimes I wear it during the day too. I wear it during the day, I wear it during the night. And I enjoy it, but I have way too many lip glosses and I need to get my numbers down. So I have been using that relatively consistently, but I still got a long way to go for sure. I definitely have a long way to go on that. Something I do not have a long way to go and I would love to get out of this project before the finale is my NARS Rakugian pencil. I have this in this project for Rebecca S. And I mean, she would be so ashamed of me if she saw how long it was taking me to pan this, because she flies through lip products, especially pencils like this. Like, they're gone in a month and I've been working on this for years. Now I am getting there. I have moved this back to my purse, so it goes with me during the day and I try to reapply, you know, after lunch or on my way home so that my lips are protected. Don't love this product. I would never consider purchasing this if it's still on the market. I have no idea if NARS is still selling this, but this would never be something I would want to buy a full size of. However, I was gifted it and it's an okay color. I think my biggest complaint is that it basically looks like I'm not wearing any lip product at all. And it doesn't have much of a gloss to it. Really, it's like a semi-matte. So I could handle something that doesn't have a colorful impact, but it adds a lot of gloss. But that's not glossy and it doesn't add any color to my lips. So it's kind of like, what's the point? That being said, I want it gone. I want it gone and I want a point for my low buy. Good gravy. Another product I really haven't used much is Warm Me Up from Maybelline. I love this shade. I like it very much. It's a very, very pretty neutral, but I just haven't reached for it. I have this in this project for Christina Chang. And there was no new mark to make on my paper. Up next is a shadow from my ABH and Mario Master Palette by Mario from ABH, and that is the shade right here called Isabel. Oh shoot, by the way, I'm just remembering that I got a comment recently from somebody asking me to start doing more swatches, and I thought, you know, I really should. And here I am, like halfway through this update, and I have 0 swatches. I suck at doing swatches. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try and start doing swatches, guys, because it seems like that's what the people want. Anyways, this is a very pretty shade. I think when I first saw it years and years ago, I thought it was gonna be more of a tan. It's a lot deeper. Like a lot of ABH shadows, this is a lot deeper on the eyes than it actually looks in the pan. And I haven't been reaching for this as much lately because what I've been using in my crease when I want just kind of like a neutrally brown shade or a reddy brown or an orangey brown is my bronzer. I've been using my bronzer as my eyeshadow, my crease shade in my eyeshadow a lot lately. So this hasn't had a ton of use, but I am starting to get a tiny dip going there. I mean, for the longest time, it didn't look like I was using it at all. I'm not tracking my usage, so I don't know how many times I've used that shadow, but my goal is to hit pan on it, and I don't feel like I'm very close to that goal at all. But it's gonna stay in this project for as long as I'm doing this project. And I don't know, now that I'm working on these 2 bronzers, I tend to reach for them because I'm inundated with bronzer right now, and they kind of do the same thing. I mean, they all work the same in my crease. So if I have the bronzer out, I just kind of throw the bronzer in my crease rather than pulling out a separate eyeshadow to use in my crease that's the same color as the bronzer. We've been living a very simple life these days. We're looking for simple. Up next, I have another palette with gold set for 2 separate project panners. The first one is Tori, and that is this shade right here called Sheba. I have not touched the shadow once at all. I really like this shadow. I really like bronzy eye looks, especially like a neutrally bronze, something that's not too cool, not too warm. I love bronze. I think it's very flattering with my hair color and my eye cap color. I just haven't been going for this shadow at all lately. I don't know what I've been doing, but it hasn't been incorporating that shadow into my eye looks at all. The other shadow is right here, and it is for Katerina, and it is gorgeous. It is the shade Jezebel. And oh my gosh, I love this shadow. This is a shadow that's a lot lighter than it looks in the pan. This shadow looks like a very, very deep plum, but when I put it on my eyes, it's like magenta, like a hot pink, like a deep, I don't know. It is very, very pretty and it blends out beautifully. I really like the shadow. I think I've only used it like once since the last update though. I just haven't been reaching for this palette at all. I see it every day in my bathroom, but I just have been really focusing on certain eye looks and it has not included this palette. That's definitely a palette that I've fallen in love with through this project though, and I 110% see it turning up in another project if I don't meet my goals on it before this project ends. I just really like that palette a lot, and I hadn't used it for a long time, but I've really fallen in love with it. Next is my blush for Rose in the shade Rose Shimmer. I haven't made much progress on this blush, I would say, for almost a year now. It really has been kind of stagnant. When I look back at where it was when I first rolled it into this project, I've made a lot of progress, but over the past, I don't know, 10 months or so, I really haven't done much with it because I was really trying to finish off a small blush that I had in my Classic Project 10 pan. And now once again, I have a new blush in a Classic Project 10 pan that I'm feeling compelled to reach for over this one. I did wear this the other day and I over applied. Ooh, you do not want to over apply with this blush. I forgot. And I literally, every person I saw that day was like, I just was like, I'm sorry, I look like a clown. And everybody was really nice and they're like, you don't look like a clown. I'm like, yes, I do. My cheeks were so bright pink. It was shocking. And I got a lot of blush on today. I like blush, but when I say it's too much blush, it's too much blush. Like, it was over the top. I really went for it that day. And it wasn't until I got in my car and started driving around in natural light and caught a glimpse of myself in my rearview mirror that I was like, holy biscuits, oh my gosh, like, what happened? And I looked at my son and I was like, why didn't you tell me I put on too much makeup? I think I overdid it on the bronzer that day too. So it was just too much every which way. But my son was like, what? Like, you can't let me walk out the door like this, bud. Like, it was too much. Anyways, I think that's the only time I've used it since the last update, and it didn't go well. All right, up next. For Tanya, who is Irreverent Beauty, I have this Marc Jacobs gloss stick. I love this. I have only reached for it a few times, and again, I cannot measure progress on this because you can wind it up, but you can't wind it back down. So I do love this very much, and I have used it, I don't know, 5 times ish, but it's still going. For Metropolitan Creole, I have my Candy Venom lipstick from Fenty Beauty. That is the lipstick I am wearing today. I love this lipstick so much. I do not always feel comfortable wearing this lipstick from day to day, especially at my job at a school. I feel like it's a lot, but I set the goal of using this 20 times and I am now at 16 uses. I think I used it 2 times since the last update, and that means I only need to use it 4 more times before my goal is met. I think there's a good chance I could do that by the finale of this project, whenever that is, or for all I know, Jessica will text me tomorrow and be like, I'm done, and then that's it. So I'm gonna try and use it 4 more times before the finale. Up next is hitting pan on another eyeshadow. This time it's my Heavy Metals palette from Urban Decay. It's looking a little splotchy from being in my bathroom. I chose this palette for Verity, who is Red Dirt and Stardust. And I'm not gonna take this all the way out. The shadow, well, I will. Okay, here you go. Here's the palette. There's the whole palette right there. But the shade that I'm trying to hit pan on is the shade down here in the corner called Acoustic. And it's kind of like a dupe for ColourPop Couche, which is one of my all-time favorite Super Shock shadows. I panned that entire Super Shock shadow all by myself a couple years ago. And I was so excited to find this dupe for that shadow because I just think it's so beautiful. I'm wearing it on the inner corner of my eye look today. My goal is to hit pan, and I have not done that, but I definitely have a dip. I don't know if you could see it. Oh, there, maybe you could see it there. Can you see the dip? I got a dip going. I don't know how deep these pans are. I think they're pretty deep, but I have not been using this consistently because I have that really light kind of like aqua shade in my little 4-pan Panette palette from last year, And so that's the shadow I use most often as an inner corner highlight. But I have been using that every now and then when I feel like, when I feel like it. I don't know, different days call for different eye looks and different moods. And so when I want color on my inner corner, I go for the aqua shade. When I don't, I go for that one. And those are, well, there is a third inner corner eyeshadow that I should be reaching for, but I'm really not. So it's usually between those two for my inner corner look. It's beautiful. It makes for a beautiful inner corner highlight. It would make for a beautiful eyelid shade, but I have way too many. I have even more eyelid shades that I'm working on than inner corner highlights. So that's really all I've been using it for. Up next for Taru, who is cruelty-free panner, I have this, I don't want to call it a set because it's not a set. It's something I made a set. These two products from possibly the 90s. I don't know. They're really old. This is Max Factor. This is CoverGirl. But these are kind of like the original liquid lipstick and gloss set that we all fell in love with back in the day. This is just the shade 84. It doesn't have a name other than the number. It reminds me of Taru because it's just kind of a grungy shade, and when I think of grungy makeup, I think of Taru. She's definitely not afraid to play with grungy colors. And then this is the gloss bomb that you can layer on top of this if you don't want a matte look. Turns out I kind of prefer this with just the matte look. I don't love this lipstick. I am trying to pan it, but it's not my favorite. But when I do reach for this lipstick, I tend to not reach for the balm at all. So I've just been using the balm kind of in the morning or the night as a lip balm. And I have been using this quite a bit. It has gotten much smaller. I couldn't find any photos of this, but I did take some screenshots from the original video when I first introduced this into this project. I think it was August of 2023. And when I compare where I am now with where I was back then, I have made quite a bit of progress on this. I don't know if I could finish it by the finale, but I think the two best outcomes from this product being in this project is discovering that I just prefer this without any lip balm on top of it anyways, and that this makes for a really nice lip balm on its own. So I prefer these two products separate rather than together anyways. And I don't have to rely on one versus the other for project panning. I could pan them separately, and that works out for me. That works with me just fine. Okay, this next product is another kind of a fail. I've been struggling with this. This is my Stila glitter in Next to Not. It is a beautiful kind of cherry red glitter, but it's another product that just feels very over the top for day to day. My goal was to use this 20 times. I'm still only at 2 uses. I brought this in for Lauren, who is Beauty Nook by Lauren. And yeah, I love it in theory, but when I actually wear it, I just think, girl, you are just doing too much for a Monday. Like, take it back a notch. So it's hard when I feel like the makeup I want to wear doesn't jive with where I'm going for that day. But sometimes I try, I mean, I am maybe more aware than some people, but also like when I start getting a lot of comments like, oh, you really look fancy today, then I kind of know that I overdid it. Like, it is a kind but subtle clue that I was doing too much, and I'm not going for doing too much at work. So I haven't been able to really fit that product in, even though I really like the idea of it and I think it's such a pretty shade. It just doesn't really work for my lifestyle. Okay, we're almost done. I have 2 more products to talk about. My Pure Visionary palette. I brought this back in. This was originally in my Pan in Every palette project. I took it out because I was kind of overwhelmed at the time. I brought it back into this project with the same goal, but this time I brought it in for Sarah Catherine. And my goal is to hit pan on this shade right here. I am tracking my usages. I did not bring that paper out here, but I don't think I've used it more than like 5 times since the last update. I am wearing it today. That is the shade you see like on the inner half of my eyelid. It is a very, very pretty, it's like a buttery yellow. It's a gold, but it's not like a gold. It's a soft, buttery, yellowy gold, and I really, really like it. It is so pretty. Yeah, I do have a little bit of a dip going, but I don't have pan yet. Again, I don't really have a reference point for how deep these pans are, but when I do wear it, I tend to enjoy it very much and I really like it, but no pan yet. And I think I only used it like 3 or 4 times since the last update. And the final product in this project that's rolling over until the finale is this Charlotte Tilbury highlighting wand. I brought this in for Amber, who is Makeup and Books with Amber M. I really haven't been using this much because I have another cream highlighter that I'm trying to focus on more, the one that's part of my Saint Beauty / Mascara Beauty set. But there was a week or two when that whole set was sitting out here in the front room as part of my inventory, and I use this every day, and boy, is this gorgeous. This is a beautiful product. This is just a deluxe sample size. I bought a pack of this and a liquid blush around my birthday a couple years ago. But this is a gorgeous product. I like everything about it. I like the applicator. I like the shade, works very, very well for me. And I like how the amount of illumination that it provides. Like, I think the other highlighter that I'm currently working on from Saint Beauty is more like of a glowy balm than an actual highlighter, and it's very subtle. Now, a lot of times I end up layering a powder highlighter over my cream highlight anyways, so I don't know if that's really, at the end of the day, I don't know if it really matters, but out of the two, I really enjoy this, but I have not been reaching for it as much because I'm trying to stay on top of that Saint Beauty one instead. So when I do reach for this, I absolutely love it. I just haven't been using it that consistently, but this is in here for Amber. All right, I think that's everything. We are officially down to 19 products. I'm gonna try really hard to finish this. I'm gonna try to use this 4 more times and say gold med on that. And I'm gonna try and use up this balm, and maybe I'll try and hit pan, but I doubt it. Halo from Luxie Beauty, I doubt it. But that is it for this update. Again, I think this is gonna go up before my inventory, but the inventory is coming soon. Thank you for your patience. Oh my gosh, so much to do. It's gonna be a busy week for me. Obviously, filming YouTube videos is not the only thing I have to do this week. There are a lot of other things that have fallen by the wayside in my life that I need to catch up on this week, and this is just one of them. So wish me luck. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you back here hopefully tomorrow with another video, whether it's my inventory or something else. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks again. Bye.